Good evening, fans. Tim Kitzrow here, the voice of NBA Jam, and you're listening to the Game Dev Breakdown Podcast, brought to you by CodeWritePlay.com. Whoa, boom shakalaka!
My mom gave birth in 1985. I was bluer than a Pac-Man ghost, barely alive. In the Cold War, my only blanket was Tetris. I played Rampart with Reagan, rampaged the world for breakfast. The laundromat was my sanctuary, the arcade was my church. I thought I was Rastan.
Okay, you want to jump into it?
Yeah, can do.
I should start by having you introduce yourself, because if your name isn't Bluepin, I don't know what to call you.
Yeah, right. My name is Viktor. I am the co-founder of Bluepin Studio. It doesn't really mean much to anyone yet, but we hope to make some really cool stuff in the future and get our name out there. It's a two-man team, me and a friend from high school.
Gotcha. Cool. So the last thing we discussed before setting up the call was a project called Eggnog Incorporated, which is on Steam. Is that right? Yep,
it's on Steam. Originally, the game was a game jam game that we made over a weekend, but we decided it has enough content or enough of a kind of an interesting idea to make it into a full game, and just to kind of do a trial run of releasing a game on Steam.
Sure. I saw what looked like a reference to LD, so this was an LD jam?
Yep, yeah, Ludum Dare, or Ludum Dare, depending on how you want to pronounce it, but yeah.
If you want to be official with it, yeah. How long ago was that? What was the theme that time?
It was in October of 2020. The theme was Stuck in a Loop.
Oh, I did that one too.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
That was one of the better ones, I thought. There have definitely been some themes over the last couple of years that didn't really resonate with me personally. And yeah, maybe I'm just not as creative as some people, but that one seemed like a good one. And now that you say that, I can see how your game fits very well into that. How did you do during actual judging of the LD Jam?
Well, there's like thousands of games that get submitted, so it's hard to be in the top anything.
Right.
But we did okay. We did better than our previous game jam. We got in the top 100 for humor, so that was pretty cool.
Oh, nice. I think I was right under the top 100 for humor, and I was very happy with that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to get in the top 100.
Very nice.
Many games.
So, in that case, in a relatively short time, you've fleshed this out and put it up on Steam, where it looks like the reviews are generally positive. How are you liking the Steam experience so far?
Well, it's kind of it's cool to see your game on Steam, and it's been like, it's kind of like a huge milestone typically, or has been in the past. But I feel like some of the significance of being on Steam has been kind of diluted by the way the Steam works now. Is that anyone can just put up a game on Steam, you pay $100 and off you go. They're not really gatekeeping quality anymore, so I don't know how I feel about it. I would have been way more impressed 5 years ago than I am now. And also, it would have made a bigger impact 5 years ago than it does now.
I think that's probably true. That's kind of an interesting thing. It is different talking to developers now who've just made it onto Steam than it was, like you said, before they sort of overhauled the entry process. I mean, you used to have to deal with Greenlight and all that.
Yeah, you used to have to prove your game is good, but now it doesn't matter.
Right. Now, to be fair, it's more similar to, the App Store or something like that, but that is a mixed bag, because now anybody can do it, and $100 isn't anything to somebody who wants to just try to asset flip or something like that. So
yeah,
these sincere projects, you're right, you've got an extra sort of hurdle to jump, but it looks like it's well received. So
yeah, it's okay. The thing is, what I expected is Steam to provide some organic traffic. I mean, I realize why they can't necessarily, because like maybe the same day my game came out, 40 others came out, because it's something like 200, 300 games come out every week on Steam. So obviously Valve can't give them all organic traffic or help them all succeed. So it's kind of like basically Steam for me now just seems like a place where I can host my game to be available for download and purchase. No different than if I was just to put a zip file on my game onto my own website.
Yeah,
it pretty much brings zero traffic.
It's become a thing that would be wrong to ignore it, but now you're just sort of checking a box. I get it. So for anybody not familiar with the game yet, tell them what the play experience is.
Well, you start working at a company that's a little bit fictitious because it's obsessed with eggnog. I mean, maybe that exists somewhere out in real life, a company that's only thinking about eggnog.
Hopefully.
But anyway, you get eggnog cartons that are kind of randomized, and you have to determine if they're right or wrong. Like determine if there's any manufacturing issues with them, like the wrong box art or the eggnog color is wrong or the ingredients are wrong. And it gets progressively more and more complicated the longer you work there. So then you start checking if it's flammable, what its pH level is, and so on.
It's surprisingly deep from the looks of it, for what it is, which is funny. It's also a very funny game. I can tell just at a glance. A lot of time spent on the humor and the parody, box art and everything. I really like that element of it. It's easy to see why this was ranked high for humor. And I should note that your Twitter account is pretty funny to follow also.
Yeah, we try. We don't take it too seriously. We tried our best to. In the eggnog game, the CEO is like this. I have a Russian background. I was born in Russia, but I grew up in Canada. Mm-hmm. But so I felt like I was okay doing like a parody Russian accent and pretending to be a crazy Russian guy. So that's kind of what we made the CEO, just some weirdo Russian guy. He talks about making cardboard cutouts of things and like all this really obscure stuff while he's judging your performance in the game. Do you guys play this kind of game? Like, is this influenced by stuff that cracks you up when you're the player? Well, I don't know. I mean, I have played a few games like this, and some games that break the fourth wall. I don't know that it was based too much on anything that I've experienced. I mean, I have played Papers, Please, which is a very similar game. Right. You play in this kind of weird, sketchy Russian environment, Eastern European environment, and you're judging just whatever paperwork. So it's kind of the same in that regard. I mean, we drew a lot of comparisons while we were making it. Like, what did Papers, Please do that we liked? What did they do that we didn't like? So, yeah. But I mean, most of the games I actually play full time, like for the most part, is like action games and RPGs and stuff. So it was kind of out of the ordinary to make Eggnog Incorporated. Yeah, and you can't exactly be expected to draw from too much action and RPG during an LD Jam weekend. So I get that. Yeah, we were originally going to make an Eggnog game where you play as a little carton and it's like a 2D platformer. But we felt like there's going to be like 3,000 2D platformers. Maybe we should try something else. This seems like a safe way to stand out. I think you're right. I think Papers, Please probably inspired there has been a bit of a new trend of like job simulator games, more so than probably before Papers, Please. And some of them are very funny, and some of them are very fun to play. So it's interesting to see when people are able to make that kind of resonate as a gameplay experience, in addition to like, well, this is a way to crack some jokes and have a good time for a minute. So yeah, it's actually hard to make it fun. If believe it or not, it's hard to make checking documents or eggnog fun. So I can see that, because I've thought about this kind of thing before, because I feel like these type of games are a good way to draw on past experiences. We've all had weird jobs at some point, and it's a fun way to kind of tell that story. But yeah, it seems like it's difficult to make a compelling gameplay experience as well. So yeah, kudos to you. What is the tool set you guys used for this? So my background is I went to school for jewelry design. So and I fix watches also as my job. So my skills are purely kind of dexterity with my hands, but I don't have a lot of knowledge of maths or programming languages. So I used a software called Construct 3, which is like kind of like a drag and drop. Everything is in plain English. So like, set the position of the carton to this, move the carton across the screen, stuff like that. You don't have to learn a different language. You can program it all in English. So that's what I used. How does your partner contribute to this? He does all the art. So he was using a program called Sprite, just drawing the pixel art for the thing. So it's a pretty good fit. I don't know if we could ever add a second programmer, because I don't really know the intricacies of collaboration on the same like script or the same thing. So we might just pile on artists and have me do the quote unquote programming for a while. It's a funny and it's a good fitting art style. So I like how everything came together here.
Work on watches. What is the training like for that? Because that's a fascinating line of work to me.
Yeah, there is training available, a formal training in very few places around the world now, as you can imagine, because it's not really that highly demanded kind of work. So you can go to Switzerland to learn at a school. There's schools in America. There's one in Pennsylvania, but they only accept American citizens as students, so inaccessible to me as a Canadian. There used to be a school in Canada, but they closed it down recently, so there's no schools here in Canada. So basically, the main way to do it is you just find someone who's already good at it and doing it, and get a job with them, or maybe just ask them to teach you for free.
Sure, yeah. Do a lot of people come through? I mean, do you stay busy?
Yeah. I mean, right now it's kind of strange because of COVID, but normally, yeah.
I guess that's true. I guess fixing your watch is not the top of the priority list right now. But
yeah, exactly. Or just going out, at all, really.
Yeah, certainly around here. Like we're in kind of a hot spot for it, and so I have been very locked down for going on a year now. So it's
it's the same since March of last year.
Right.
My part of Canada has been basically on lockdown, where gyms are closed, salons are closed, etc., for about 12 months now. And essential services are open, but everyone else is kind of like on a case-by-case basis.
How are you guys doing on rolling out the vaccine? Because we're doing a terrible job.
I have no idea, actually. I don't really watch the news, and I just sit at home for the most part. So I don't know what's going on out there.
Mm-hmm. It's been a real mess, and yeah, it's almost better. I think you're probably happier than I am as a result.
Well, all I do know from my American friends that we're doing a much better job, or at least our government's doing a much better job, keeping us afloat financially. Because for the last 12 months, we've been getting $2,000 checks every month.
God bless you. That's great.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, I don't know what the implications are tax-wise in the future, or where that money is coming from, but no complaints for now.
And it almost doesn't matter. I mean, because it's so important that we take care, and not to dive too far into this, but I mean, it's such a critical thing right now that we just do whatever's required to fix the problem. We'll deal with the rest, because here we're even more than at a government level, we're dealing with the state level, and every state wants to handle things differently. And my state wants to just send all the kids back to school, open everything back up, and we're nowhere close. We're nowhere close to that time. And they're saying, like, well, what are the implications in terms of the economy, in terms of, the kids' education? It really doesn't matter. None of that stuff matters right now till we fix this life-threatening situation first, and then move on. That's my soapbox about that. But it's kind of harrowing, but also fascinating to live in this time, because it's kind of like unprecedented. At least, maybe it is completely unprecedented that the whole world is shut down, and it's fascinating. I read somewhere we only really hit this level of, pandemic like every 100 years or so. So, I mean, most everybody is going through their first round of anything like this. And in many ways, yeah, I agree. I think there's never been anything like this. We're dealing with questions that don't really have a playbook to draw from. And it's not only a fascinating time to just try to survive everyday life, but it's a really interesting time to do creative things, contribute to things online and reach out and do business online. We'll always look back at this time and go, yeah, we survived that thing, and here's what we did and how we did it, as horrible as it is. But yeah, I agree. It's very interesting right now. Yeah.
And actually, the pandemic was basically the only reason that I'm making games, because I was able to sit at home full time and crack on with what my actual passion is video games. And I thought, I'm going to start making games. And so we made a few small games for small game jams. We did maybe 3 or 4 of those. And the 4th game jam where we did the Eggnog game. And we've been working on a much bigger project, like a big RPG project along the way since March. Yeah, I mean, this time has been really good for me creatively, because I've had so much time at home.
Let's take a quick break to thank our sponsor, App Figures. AppFigures is all about helping game makers get more downloads and revenue. You know AppFigures for analytics and App Store optimization. Now AppFigures can help you track competitors, from downloads and earnings to their audience demographics and even which SDKs they use. Their competitor intelligence gives great context. Say a competitor adds a new feature or was mentioned in the news. With AppFigures, you can see if that brought in more downloads. Have a new app or game idea? AppFigures will show you how big the market is and how much you could earn. Whether you're growing your app or building a new one, AppFigures can help you reduce risk and get more downloads without a huge budget or a data science degree. It's affordable and simple. AppFigures provides guides and tutorials to take you step by step through gaining more visibility with ASO and increasing your revenue by learning from your competitors. Head to appfigures.com/on/GameDevBreakdown to try AppFigures for free. If you like it, use our special code GDB3030 to get 30% off for 3 months. Again, that's GDB3030 to get 30% off for 3 months. Big thank you to AppFigures for sponsoring the show. So you want to kind of keep it going once things sort of open back up and move on. You want to try to keep things rolling?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm still probably going to have to work full time because Eggnog Incorporated sales aren't exactly, they can't exactly sustain someone full time, especially 2 people if we're splitting it 50-50.
Yeah. Well, it's cool that you've managed to do several jam projects in the last year, then doing a Steam release and working on something larger. That's still pretty aggressive. I mean, good for you.
What else are we going to do? We're all at home. The government is keeping us cozy. So we just work on our passions.
That's great. I mean, what a silver lining, you know, get to take a swing at something you never really were able to do before. I mean, that's pretty great.
Yeah. I kind of feel tempted to write that this game was funded by the government of Canada, but maybe I shouldn't. I don't know if they wanted me to use the money for that.
That's true. I've spoken with developers from Canada before, and it's always kind of a mixed thing, because it sounds to me like Canada has made a variety of efforts to contribute to creative digital projects, games and VR stuff and things like that, but it sounds like much the way it is here, it's sort of always caught up in a political push and pull, you know? Is that right for you as well?
Yeah, I mean, that stuff, all those grants and all the efforts of government to stimulate games and creative stuff is all done on like a state level for us here. So it's different for different places where you live in Canada. For the most part, I think it's like Vancouver and Montreal or their states, British Columbia and Quebec are the main kind of where all the grants are for that kind of stuff. Where I live here is Toronto, which is the province is Ontario, and I don't know that they have too many grants. I looked into it a while ago, and I remember there being nothing even remotely applicable to me. It's all like, if you want to build a factory that uses AI in some way, we'll give you $100,000 or whatever. It's not like game related, from what I remember. Maybe there's something small, but nothing that stands out.
And maybe this is lofty, but maybe you get these projects going, you get some experience under your belt. Maybe you make a career jump to do this during the day too, right? Yeah,
I've thought about it, and like Ubisoft has an office here and stuff like that in my city. But I thought about like, are most big game or companies that make games or test games or whatever, are they going to allow an employee that works for them that is also trying to release games on Steam on their own free time? It feels kind of like a conflict of interest.
It's an interesting point, but I do think, especially the bigger studios, I think Ubisoft would be a good one. I think they kind of get it because, for one thing, I think they sort of encourage that, because anybody who's working on this outside of the day-to-day responsibilities is sharpening a tool set and learning new stuff. So I think they probably just have an agreement that clearly everybody knows what is and isn't okay in terms of like don't leak stuff you're doing at work, and don't encroach on, directly compete with us. But I feel like usually they're okay with it. But yeah, you're right. It's definitely something to watch out for.
Because I feel like eventually, if you work at Ubisoft, you'll learn things like, how they do their production pipeline and how they, mix and master audio properly and all that stuff. And if you start using that stuff in your games while you're working for them, like if you start using the techniques, which is unavoidable, you learn stuff, so you use it. Yeah, I don't know. If I was Ubisoft, I wouldn't hire someone who's actively working on their own games. Yeah, I would hire someone who has made games in the past, but they would have to tell me that they're not currently working on any games.
And I kind of wonder if we're about to see a little bit of a shift, because I just read about one of the big publishers, and it might have been Ubisoft. They were saying how they're going to sort of transition to less like big AAA releases, and they want more of their funding to come from like small projects and free-to-play stuff, and less Assassin's Creed and more small like mobile stuff. So
right.
I kind of wonder if we're heading toward a bit of a convergence between those skill sets anyway, and they'll maybe be more interested in that.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I heard the same thing, and people were commenting on it, saying things like, because that I think what you mentioned there was mentioned in a investor like call or whatever we want to call it. And it's funny because like everything they said during that is like the opposite of what their core audience wants to hear, free to play and the casual. It's like that doesn't really appeal to people who really like Assassin's Creed and stuff like that. But anyway,
those comment sections were a dumpster fire for sure. But
yeah, it just goes to show you that investors and the users are completely opposite people.
Yeah, that's kind of something funny we're kind of seeing now, because CD Projekt Red's now dealing with that too. Their players versus their investors and stuff. It's a wild time to follow this stuff, really. Yeah,
I don't know. That whole free to play stuff is really stinky to me. It's really like, I don't know. It seems manipulative. To some degree, you want players to enjoy your game and want to pay for your game and everything, but I don't know. They have too many tricks.
Yeah, and I'm somebody who will happily download a mobile game or grab something free to try on the Switch. So I feel like I see a lot of this stuff, and some are way better than others. You sort of get to know the publishers who are going to try absolutely anything. Unfortunately, Ubisoft has some very bad habits with this. What's an example? They have a new Assassin's Creed game that you can... It's practically an idle, game where you just let the game play itself. But they'll do stuff like, one of your daily objectives is you have to watch an ad. Like, what kind of policy is that?
Wow. I've actually never played an idle game. They advertise them as, here's a game you can play. Here's a game that progresses, and even if you don't play. And I've always thought that's a weird way to advertise your game. Why would I want that? Like, if I'm actively playing, why do I want someone who's not playing to keep up with me? What the hell is that all about?
It is nonsense, honestly. The good ones almost have kind of a management sim feel to them, because the idea is if you're smart about how you set it up, the game will progress faster than if you were just sitting around staring at it. But there's really nothing to it. And when I did the same LD jam we discussed earlier, mine was kind of to crack jokes at mobile games where the loop you're in is you have this tiny game to play and you keep going through the exact same thing, doing the same stuff and seeing ads every time, and make sure to click on this every time and download this from the App Store. So you're the one stuck in the loop instead of just the play loop. You are the loop. It's constantly throwing this barrage of nonsense at you. And it struck a chord with people because people recognize this thing that's sort of getting worse and worse in the app space all the time. And it's easy to see why people depend on AAA stuff just to get away from the rest of that. I get it.
I know. Yeah, can you imagine, though, Assassin's Creed going free to play and then they have advertisements? It's like, my God, the last bastion of humanity gets destroyed.
Yeah, I'm afraid that shift in mindset could easily go that direction. Now it's sort of open world, and we'll release just a mini quest every once in a while, and here's your season pass, and here's your your loot box, and
yeah, my God. What I've been thinking about it lately, where they make really cool skins. I was watching my friends. I was working on something and watching my friend stream on the side, and he was playing Valorant. And there was these really cool weapon skins that I was seeing, like space effects, and one's a dragon and all this crazy stuff. And I'm thinking, wow, look at all this cool stuff. But then I remembered that the devs basically make this cool stuff only for the paying users. Like, you have to spend money for this. It's like, we can make really cool stuff and people will be fulfilled and people will love it, but we can't simply just make it and let them use it. We have to get them to pay for it. I feel like that's an unfortunate reality that we live in, where like the devs can make really cool stuff and like really fun DLC and all this stuff, but it's always locked behind a paywall.
Yeah, the money is always going to stand between what the players want and what the players get, it seems to me. Well, tell me this. So you're working on a big project for, to do something a little bit bigger and more official now that you're underway. What kind of dreams do you have for this? I mean, what kind of stuff do you really want to do? Is it going to be that same action RPG kind of stuff, or what would you like to do if you could just do anything?
Well, I'm just catering to my own nostalgia largely, and hopefully others will follow, others will appreciate. I really liked Zelda as a kid, and Fable. So I like the idea of like decisions mattering and morality and stuff like that, but also like RPG elements, like collecting stuff and growing your character to become more powerful. So I'm just kind of mixing all the games I really like into one, taking what I think is the good parts and combining them. Yeah, I mean, the fact that it's a 2D RPG is just out of necessity, simply because, again, I don't know any programming languages, and I don't know of anything I can make 3D games without knowing any programming languages. So it's going to be 2D, but it should still be good. I don't know. It's like those 2D Zelda games. Those are really nice, like Minish Cap or Link to the Past.
Minish Cap.
Those are great.
Every time you bring up Minish Cap, everybody goes, "Oh yeah," because
it's weird though, because I don't see anyone talk about it that much,
right?
Compared to like Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask and that.
Exactly. It doesn't get nearly enough credit, but anytime it comes up in a room, at least a few people go, "Oh yeah,"
Yeah.
So I think those sort of nostalgia-fueled 2D projects are still going to be in demand for quite a long time. I don't know if that'll ever go out of style, because it's just it strikes a chord with people, and they go, "Yep, I know exactly what you're going for. Give me that."
Mm-hmm. We were thinking of one thing that we're still actively deciding on, and maybe you could weigh in on it, is how do you make a game that has kind of a realistic sense of time passing, like NPCs getting older, your character getting older, etc. How does that, like, because you have to make contingencies, right? What if an NPC gets so old that he passes away and he's vital to some quest? What happens now? Is that quest broken, or do you have to get someone else who inherits his part in the quest, or like how does it all work? And not a lot of games tackle that because it's too complicated, and it's probably you don't get much reward for all the effort you go to. But it's an interesting thing that I want to explore, maybe doing.
You're right. It's something that not a lot of games try to do, but the ones that do try to do it, they stand out almost every time. What was that game Epic did? Infinity Blade tries a very fast version of that. I don't know if you've ever played that, but
No, I haven't played it.
Basically, your hero goes through a tower, goes through a series of duels, and when they die, because you'll for sure die, it starts over with that hero's son, who's now going to go try the same thing, and you go through generation after generation. And games that do stuff like that, it's such a cool element. I think it's a great thing to try to incorporate. So I would say be very creative with it, try it, and you'll for sure get some credit on that.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if we can make it compelling.
Well, that's the key. Yeah. It's a neat thing that I've honestly never tried in any of my projects. So maybe I'm the wrong guy to ask, but I do think it's a great goal to shoot for. It's a great element to incorporate.
Yeah, we'll see.
So Construct 3, that's a fairly popular engine, comparable, I guess, to Game Maker and stuff like that. But it seems like you caught on quick, right? Doing pretty well.
I would say it's on par popularity-wise with Game Maker and stuff like that. It's largely popular with people who make mobile games. There's not a lot of people making PC releases, simply because it's like, I think how it works is it's in HTML5, and then that gets put into like a JavaScript wrapper to be able to run on desktop, something like that. So it's kind of like a game, like an engine within an engine. Not the best for performance, not the best for complexity and stuff like that. So maybe that's why people don't use it for desktop. But actually, a game everyone's been talking about lately, Cyber Shadow, was made using Construct. A little known fact.
Every once in a while I hear about a popular Construct project, and not only that, but what you mentioned, going through HTML5 and JavaScript and being in a wrapper and then running on both, I've heard of PC and consoles. What was the game? Crosscode, I think? A game around that time, I think it was Crosscode, does the exact same thing, but not inside Construct. So several engines and several frameworks do that exact same thing, even though we all agree it's maybe not the most efficient thing, but people come up with very fun, very compelling projects and launch them exactly that way. So I guess that's sort of around to stay.
Yeah, I mean, I think also one of my favorite games, Fable, they released their anniversary edition, which is like a remastered of the original game, and they moved to Unreal Engine. But I think that how the way that it works is it runs the original Fable, but inside Unreal Engine, and then Unreal Engine makes real time changes to the textures and lighting and stuff. I'm not sure, but yeah. So even bigger companies do stuff like that.
See, I have Fable Anniversary Edition because I was a huge Fable fan also back when it first came out. I don't even want to know how many years ago that was now because it'll make me feel too old.
17 years, I think.
Oh, I knew it was around 20 and I didn't want to hear 20. But I love Fable, and I didn't know that it was doing anything interesting like that, but I'm looking forward to the next one. I can tell you that.
Yeah, all of us people, because I also speedrun Fable. Not very much, but I'm a part of the community in a way, and we're all kind of unsure about what's going to happen here because it could be a massive disappointment or maybe not. We'll see.
How fast can Fable be played?
Well, casually, Fable, the original Fable 1 and the Lost Chapters like expansion for it. Casually, I don't know. I play it with my friend casually, maybe 8 hours, something like that. But the speedrunners get it down to about an hour.
My God.
So you go through the whole game in 1 hour, give or take.
I'm going to have to look that up.
Yeah, there's a lot of like clipping through places you shouldn't go. Like you can use this companion to teleport, to basically kind of teleport on the other side of a door you're not supposed to have access to and stuff like that.
That's funny. It never occurred to me to speedrun Fable, so that's funny that people are doing that.
Oh yeah. Oh, if there's a game out there, it has a speedrun.
That's true. These speedrunners are brilliant. Like, it's incredible to me.
Yeah.
They should all have high-paying QA jobs if they don't already.
Yeah. I always wondered how many things were discovered, how many speedrun things were actually discovered by people who were testing the game before it released. I'd hope that some of the people testing games are do the same thing the speedrunners do, like try to pick up a bucket and shove it through the corner and see what happens and stuff like that. Yeah.
I never thought about it before, but if I was hiring a QA person, I would put a speedrunner at the top of the list. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. So, well, anyway, let people know where they can find the game and you online.
Sure. Well, you can find us on Steam, Eggnog Incorporated. Actually, if you just search Eggnog, we're the only Eggnog game on Steam, so that's pretty cool. And then our links are there on the page. We have a Twitter, Bluepin Studio 1. Bluepin Studio is already taken. Well, I'm in talks to buy.
Nice.
And that's about it.
Well, everybody check out the premier Eggnog experience on Steam. and follow Bluepin to see what's coming up next. Well, thank you for volunteering to talk this weekend. This was fantastic.
Well, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. I love the podcast. Keep it up. I'm an active listener. I just actually finished listening to the yesterday's episode. So,
awesome.
Good stuff.
Well, great. We'll check in later when you're further along on the next project and see how things are going.
All right. Sounds good.
If you enjoy the Game Dev Breakdown podcast, we would love to have you subscribe anywhere. Hit that follow button on Spotify. We have show notes at codewriteplay.com. You can subscribe to our new newsletter if you would like to get game industry news, game development resources, you name it. Once a week, check out codewriteplay.com and click on that newsletter tab. You just put in your email and we will take care of the rest. We'll not bug you very often. Reach out on social media. You can find at GameDevPod, which is the podcast, CodeWritePlay, and me, Todd Mitchell, at MechaToddzilla with 1 D and 2 L's. Love hearing from you, your feedback, your questions, your topics. Love it all. Find our Discord server at CodeWritePlay.com. Hang out with us during the week. We're your virtual co-workers all week long. That's it for this time. We'll be back with more great stuff in just a few days. So for Game Dev Breakdown and for Code Right Play, Todd Mitchell here saying, take care, everybody. Talk to you real soon.
Congratulations on your Game Dev Breakdown, whatever that is. Sounds idiotic to me.